Hey, just got back from the gym. I had to turn off my computer so it stops making that error sound. Anyways, so this is what people do, they take away the background and everything, which is correct, but it seems to be the only correct thing that they do. My computer's now dead, I killed it, praise me. And then they just get the airbrush on a new layer that you just clip to it, or maybe they just do it on the same layer. And then they just go on either side because it's like, oh, look, a dimension, huh? It gives me a 3D effect. Oh, sorry. Right, the people that draw like this are like 5, so they're more like, oh my god, look at that. I can't do it. What do you think? Should I be a voice actor? Was my voice is just like so good? Anyways, so going around the character, giving this 3D effect, it looks like trash, it looks like garbage, and it gives away your age, which is a 5-year-old. And then just get white as the highlight. I understand why people do this, and it's okay, everyone goes through this phase. But I'm going to show you something that you could do to make it a bit better, alright? So this is usually the process that people go through. White for highlight, black for shadows, because ooh, something light, ooh, something dark, ooh, it makes sense. It doesn't make sense. And they just pop in the background, and then they just use Gaussian blur. And in a minute, I'm going to show you the different blurs that you should use. I need some water because I got back from the gym. That's right, I'm strong as hell. I don't even have a visible bicep. It's bad genetics, that's all I'm gonna blame it on. And they just blur the hell out of the background. And then just being generous here with an add layer, they might give it some lighting, some purples, maybe some yellows and stuff like that. Which, yeah, it looks good. Oh god. Oh, my neck hurts so bad. Okay. Woo! Anyways, so this looks like garbage. And then they'll go in and they'll blur the hell out of the eye, which I do kind of like the blur, but there's a thing such as over blurring, which happened to the background. Alright, and then maybe they might add some highlights. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe it's too much effort for a 5-year-old. This is what you should do. Import your character, just like before. Get rid of the background. Alright? Also, I'm just adding the background in over there so that, the gallery stuff is out of the way. And now we are getting rid of the background. You can put on the strength and everything just a little bit higher. That way you won't have like a little bit of a white outline. You can see my settings there, but you should adjust your settings accordingly because it can change for every artwork. Anyways, I'm gonna take a sip of water because I'm dying. But real quick, you're gonna want to use lens blur instead for your backgrounds, because lens blur kind of gives it more of this bokeh effect. You see, not everything is blurred. Who's messaging me? It's my brother. He just said gay. I don't know why. Anyways, and now I'm just editing the background a little bit, and see how much better that looks? Just up the saturation, and using lens blur makes everything better. New layer, use multiply. You can go over it with pinks and blues or yellows or whatever the color of your background is. This way your character will blend in with the background and it won't look like you just slapped them onto there. Yeah. Okay, now I can have a sip of water. Stay hydrated. And then I'm just blurring only the outside of the eyes. And you see, I lowered the opacity of the blur, which lowers the strength of the blur. So yeah, that way the eyes kind of just blend into everything else a little bit nicer. But they still are very visible and they still have a clear form and everything. Anyways, new layer, add. Okay, actually overlay, you could do overlay or add, but I like to do add because I have to burp. But I do add because I do overlay because it's less harsh. I'm so calm. Anyways, now I'm just going over, it's just a regular hard brush. Going over there with like a peach color because it's like a very light pink. And then just outlining the character a little bit because it's like, oh, they have like a rim light, from the back. A rim light, it follows along the rim of the character. Yeah, I know, it's a really good explanation. Basically, it goes all around and it shows the lighting comes from the back. That is what a rim light is. And you see how nice that looks? It doesn't look nice, don't lie to me. I'm too hard on myself. This is why I'm gonna go to therapy. Okay, yeah, so just going along the character. And yeah, I know the brush is really hard and you could keep it like that. But you can also blur it just a little bit, not a lot, okay? I'll take hard shadows over soft shadows any day, but mixing both of them together is going to give you much nicer results. Okay, So here, I'm just going to Gaussian blur. That'll help blend it a little bit. And I'm just blurring it just a little bit. Anyways, new layer, add layer, airbrush, getting just like a purplish color. And the reason why the color I use on add isn't very saturated is because it makes it less harsh. You see? And now I'm just dabbing it around the character. Dab. Gosh, what am I? From what even is from dab? I forget what I'm saying. Okay, just tap on the little lights and colors, just depending on what the color of your background is. Is dab from like 2015 or something? I don't know. I don't keep up with trends because I don't talk with people because I'm alone. Anyways, so maybe if I stop drawing cat girls in my room and I actually went outside, then I can make some more friends. But like, where do I even find people? I'm gonna go to school. I'm gonna enroll in school as a sit-in, despite the fact that with my online school I already have 4.0 GPA. Anyways, creating some little highlights. You could change the highlights depending on the background. I just went with a yellow because I just like the color, and you know, there's some warm lights in the background, and keep in mind eyes are reflective because they're wet. I was gonna make a joke, then I realized my audience is 10 years old. So yeah. I'm so tired. I'm sorry. I got back from the gym. I'm just exhausted. Anyways, so going in with an airbrush just because it's soft and following along the rim light again, but with a more saturated color just to give it more of a pop. You can do that. You can be a little bit more gentle with it. You know, you could use reds or yellows or purples or greens or blues. Just whatever matches, you know, your thing or whatever. Anyways, new layer, multiply, picking a very light blue, and I'm just going over the shadows, just going over little shadows. Oh, but where do I put the shadows? Put it the opposite direction of the light, you know, and wherever there's something already drawn, like, oh, there's a wrinkle, add a shadow. Oh, there's your sleeves, add a shadow, you know, like, give it a little thought. Think of like the dimension, like, oh, there's a sleeve. Then because the sleeve goes over the arm, there will be a shadow casted over the arm. Same goes for hair, same goes for everything, you know? Use your brain a little bit. I know you can do it, okay? You're a lot smarter than you give yourself credit for. Sorry, I was just talking to the mirror. You guys are stupid as hell. No, I was kidding. I'm just kidding. You guys are great. Okay? So I'm just lightly going over the hair and just around the body and stuff like that. Just very light, very simple shadows, but it gives it so much more dimension, and it just makes things look a lot better. It makes it look like you put effort into something. Wish my parents could put more effort into raising me. Just kidding. They're divorced. Haha. Anyway. Now I just am making the colors darker, and I alpha locked it, okay? That's how it's only going over what I already drew on the layer. And now I am getting a warmer color so that I could just align the shadows just a little bit. This is called a surface scattering. Yeah, it happens usually, not really at night here. It happens usually in the daytime, like when it's very bright and everything. Yeah, you ever see like that nice warm color right against like the shadows? You know, and that's what I'm kind of doing. Even though it doesn't really make sense here in this environment, I just like it. Anyways, new layer on overlay. We're getting a airbrush, and I am just, you know, just testing out the colors. I'm using whites in the areas that I want to be brighter, and I'm using like a darker blue for the parts that I want to be slightly darker. A new layer, put it to add, and then I'm going down to a like dark purple, and then I am just, you know, purples, pinks, whatever color that I think is suited. I will then just like lightly dab it around the areas that I just want to glow and pop out a little more. Yeah. And then I go over everything with lens blur. Again, lens blur makes things just look a bit better. Like it gives it a completely different effect. And then I erase it. And then boom, everything has like a light little blur to it. And then getting a new layer. And then I'm just going to draw like here, you'll see in a second. Alright. I'm just going to draw a bunch of little dots in different sizes, and in different colors, okay? Just tapping on a dot, changing the color, tapping on a dot, changing the size. Make sure to change the size and the color frequently. That way it looks a bit more random, okay? We want it to look random. What I'm doing right now is I'm creating a bokeh, okay? Then I just blur it, and then I switch it to add, okay? And then I'm just giving it like a motion blur a little bit, and you see? It's pretty light. Anyways, and now I'm just going to draw an extra railing in front of it so we have some foreground. Anyways, so yeah, we're getting close to the end of the tutorial. I'm completely fine. Yeah. Okay, anyways, that's all. See ya. Take care. And you're smart.